On today's episode of the podcast of the Pear Garden, we are here with Richard Ariano, president of the Yotie Film Club. I'm Cameron, treasurer of the Players of the Pear Garden.
I'm Julian, historian of the Players of the Pear Garden. And we are the podcast of the Pear Garden.
Richard, how are you today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. President of Yotie Film Club. Very fun. And I'm really happy to have you here, especially because as theater majors, many of us will go into acting and some of us will encounter acting in film. But before we get to that, tell us and the audience at home a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, all right. So it's already been introduced. My name's Richard. I'm president of Yotie Film Club. I'm part of a leadership team for Yotie Film Club, one of the 5 members. We also have my vice president, Michaela, my treasurer, Ryan Martinez, my secretary, James, and also my PR director, Johnny. We've been working very, very hard to get this film club up and started. I think it actually started about a year and a half ago, from like where the process started. It all sparked from a conversation that we had in our video production class, wondering like, hey, what if we wanted to like make a film club here on campus? And we talked to our professor Metz about it, and he told us there was one here on campus, but I guess it got killed with COVID and like a few other options or a few other things as to why it died down. And you know, me coming here my freshman year too, I was always trying to find like a film club, and I did see remnants of that club, but like it's nowhere to be seen. So from that conversation that I had with my classmates, we worked very, very hard to get chartered. And we got chartered as of December 18th, 2024. And, you know, things have been going pretty smoothly since then.
Wow, that's really awesome, especially because, God, I remember meeting you freshman year during COVID, like in our first acting class together. And a lot has happened since then. So it's really good to hear that you've been able to keep Yotie Film Club up and running and getting it chartered. That's really cool. So as a club, what do you do? How do you contribute to the student body? What happens?
All right, so we mainly all we do is video production, you know, and you know, if somebody has an idea of a film that they want to do, we encourage them to write it down, make any final tweaks that they need to do, and you know, we all overlook it, and then we just go ahead and schedule out a shoot. And we've made a few productions so far. We're in the midst of making 3 short films at the moment from 3 different students and their own individual ideas. But that's mainly what we do. We also have participated in film festivals as well. The most recent one being the 66-hour film festival held by San Bernardino Valley College. And we actually ended up winning Best Cinematography for that competition. And that was the first one we got into. And honestly, we just really try our best to have fun with this because it's an art that's extremely expressive, you know, via audio, visuals, acting. There's so much love and emotion and, you know, just so much that could go into the art of filmmaking, and we try our best to express ourselves through that. And, you know, we do our best to have fun, you know, while doing it because, of course, it's all of us have love for filmmaking. So,
yeah. So it should be fun.
Mm-hmm. And so you're talking about the 3 student films you guys are currently working on. Can you talk a little bit more about those? What's the synopsis, I guess?
Yeah. So right now, they're not projects that I am like writing, but yeah. So the main one we're working on right now is called Here Kitty. It's being written and directed by my VP Michaela. That one's more so like a horror film, and it's very interesting. So that's one project that we're working on. It has to do with like cats and whatnot. I'm actually one of the main cats in that, and there's gonna be a cat prosthetic put onto my face. Also, Michaela is one of our VFX makeup artists, and she does a phenomenal job. And so that's the project she's working on right now. We have another project by my friend Marco, that's called Leaving Eden. I won't really go too much into detail about the story on that because I don't really know too much. But that one, I do know that it's a passion project that he's been working on for about 2-3 months writing it. And then we are also working on Johnny's film as well. He was working on one called Check Please. It was a comedy film. Essentially, it has to do with 4 broke college students Sorry, the whole story is funny because we've done 2 shoots for it since then. But essentially, the story is 4 broke college students. They don't got money, and they're all roommates, and they're trying to figure out how they're gonna go eat. Like to get food. So they decide to go to a high-end restaurant, order the most luxurious stuff, and start a brawl midway to kind of get away of paying for the check. And that shoot has been really funny. The last time we did shoot it was in February, but I know Johnny put that on hold for now because he's working on a more serious project at the moment. The name slipped out of my mind right now, but he is working on that project, and that's the 3rd one we are working on too. And then, well, technically, I guess you would say that will be the 4th one because Check Please was the 3rd. Yeah.
Wow,
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, you're working on a lot of different projects at once. So, what is the typical process you guys go through for filmmaking?
Yeah, so for filmmaking, we have our meetings every Wednesday over at UH. We're fluctuating rooms right now, but currently we're meeting every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. At UH 108 over in that big lecture hall. Yeah, typically at those meetings, we let everybody propose an idea. That idea gets shared with everybody. And then, if anybody needs any input for said ideas, we'll go ahead and drop input right there, and then we encourage people to write their script. And when they come back with a finished script, we'll overlook it, and we'll give them some advice on how they could possibly tweak it. They take the advice, that's up to them. Of course, they have full creative control over their script. But once that script is done and ready, we get a shot list. We start assigning crew positions such as director, which typically is the writer, assistant director, PA, audio, cameraman, actors, actresses. We start assembling all that and to make sure everything runs smoothly. Then we set a schedule. The soonest we set schedules like about 3 weeks minimum in advance, 4 weeks, so that way everybody's on time, and it gives everybody enough time to kind of, make way for that production. Then the shoots, on shooting days, we typically try our best to keep our shooting days about maybe 2 or 3 days at the most, because if you go farther than that, then it's kind of like, damn, you're kind of like stretching it out a little bit. And we've had projects like that in the past where they stretch us out like for about like 2 weeks, and it's tiring, But yeah, from shooting, then we go into post. Post is just solely editing, and we just edit it from there, and just keep editing it, get everybody's input on like, oh wait, what should we do here? Oh, what audio cue should we do here? And just make it as best as we can, because of course that film is somebody's baby,
Yeah.
So, and then once that film was done and ready, then hey, we have a finished project, and then we just go ahead and upload it on our YouTube channel.
Oh, you guys have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. It's Yotie Film Club. It's actually in our link tree over on Instagram at Yotie Film Club, and we have all our other social medias on there, but mainly our films are right there, ready on that YouTube channel.
Wow. Yeah, so you guys have reached out to us a couple of times asking for background actors and other things like that. But typically in this department, we're used to on-stage stuff. We do have some acting for the camera classes, but we typically stick to theater. So for those who are new to that, what can you say for others to expect out of a typical shooting day?
Yeah, so with a shooting day, I know because I used to do theater as well back in high school. Entire high school career I did theater, so I understand the theater aspect of it. I know more so it just has to be more natural, because I know with theater you have to be extremely expressive. You have to throw your hands a little bit more and project a little bit more. But it just all mellows down to just being more natural. And I think for a theater actor that's just a little bit of adjusting to, but it's fairly easy, So let's say we were to... I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, no, but anyways, yeah, I think it's very, very easy to get well acquainted with acting for the camera. Yeah, it should be fairly easy, for a theater actor. It's fairly easy. Yeah.
Awesome. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer working in theater or working in film?
Ooh, okay. Okay, so I love both of them, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and say this. With theater, when I would act on stage, I love that adrenaline. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that adrenaline so much, just being on stage, and it's like addicting. And that, I just live for that alone in theater. And plus also too, I think theater is great because it's been here for, thousands of years. It's an art that, is, been here, and it allows you to be expressive in so many different ways, you know, via lighting, makeup, and whatnot, acting. And I I solely live for that in theater, bro. That adrenaline feeling. But for film, the reason I like it is a lot is because of the visuals. You can play with that a lot, and I feel like through visuals, you can subconsciously pull emotions out of people, and especially when it comes to lighting. Lighting plays a huge role in film, and it does this in theater as well. So let's say you have like a red color, you know, that's gonna pull, you know, yeah. Let's say, yeah, I was looking at it right here. Yeah, let's say you have a red color for a very dramatic scene. You're gonna pull anger. You can pull various different emotions that associated with red. If you pull, if there's blue, you know, you pull emotions associated with the color blue, and you know, on top of that, you have the audio that adds on to that. On top of that, you have the actor/actress that adds on to that. And I feel like it's just extremely expressive, not only for, you know, seeing it visually, of course, but also subconsciously it plays with your emotions as well. Reason I say that, if you guys see La La Land, you want to get heartbroken, see that movie. Yeah, that one plays. Yeah, that one will break your heart. That's one of the examples I was thinking in my head right now.
Yeah, my dad loves that movie.
I
In
love
2
it too.
years, I refuse to watch it again. It hurt.
It's traumatic.
Yeah. So, you're saying so there's a bit of like a different control when it comes to film then.
Yeah, you have way more control, especially in post. You know, you could tweak things all you want. You know, but yeah, definitely. I think with it's different though. Yeah, with film, you have time to tweak and perfect things. Whereas I think it's beautiful with theater, you got to do it right there and then.
Yeah.
And every time that you perform and act, it's going to be different from the next time you perform it, which is, you know, I think it's unique, you know, which is another reason why I like theater, you know. But both of them are great, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both art forms. Both right.
Both are great. So you guys have mostly done short films, but we do also have a radio station on campus, Coyote Radio, and they often try to promote local bands and stuff like that. Have you guys like done any music videos or other like class-based projects?
So our PR director Johnny, he actually makes music, and we've actually shot like 2 music videos for him, and yeah, we those music videos are great because, you know, you could do so much with music as well, you know. This is why I love art. Oh my god, yeah. So with his music video, we actually filmed one of his music videos. We filmed it at my apartment, and you know, it's in black and white, and it's in I think it's 3:4 aspect ratio or 4:3, I forget. And
The old square.
yeah, the square, yeah, the square. And yeah, that one was really fun to film because there's like a creature in the background. We have one of our friends with like a bunch of face makeup, and it's very ominous, and it's trippy. And with music as well, because you mentioned Coyote Radio, Johnny's actually performing next Thursday at Coyote Walk, and I'm actually a part of that as well. And then so is our friend Marco and Abraham and Abraham's friend Felix. We're all going to be a part of a little bit of a band of some sort to help Johnny out perform his music.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, wait. By the way, for the audience at home, Coyote Walk is a little section of campus, this huge walkway where clubs will often table, and so will sororities and fraternities, and they'll just present themselves and make themselves known to the rest of the campus. So, but this is all happening your senior year now.
Yep.
Yeah, we're graduating.
I'm down to the fall. So yeah, for me, I got a little bit more time. Yeah.
You know,
Had a bad semester last semester, so I'm chilling though. But I'm all right.
You know what? Real.
It happens.
You know what? Some people may just need a little bit more time, and that's perfectly fine. But with that in mind, can you tell us what your CSUSB journey has like, and to the audience at home, like what your college experience has been like if they're thinking about coming here?
Damn. All right. All right.
We're getting serious.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I got here when I was 18. I dormed here on campus. I still do. Got here at Coyote Village. Was first lonely, but after 2 weeks, of course, you make your friends. You find your group and everything. You know, coming from my freshman year, you know, I feel like it was very easy to kind of ease into it because of actually the acting class that we're in too. We were in an intro to acting class together. Was it intro acting?
It was fundamentals of acting.
Fundamentals
and
of
it was
acting.
you, me, and Jason, who
Yeah.
couldn't be here today because he's busy. Because he's busy working on his
Oh,
own short film.
But yeah, that acting class was really great because I think that's honestly, besides my film classes, I think that's probably the only other class where I actually grew such a great connection with other people. But yeah, freshman year it was a little bit hard making my way in making friends, but eventually I did. And actually, I got into the school with an acting major too. So, but at the end, I ended up switching to communications because I took an entrepreneur class, and then I ended up liking it. But I kind of wanted a mix of everything: film, entrepreneurship, and also acting as well. So I took communications as my major now. And then, after my freshman year, went into my sophomore year, and then I actually ended up becoming an RA too, for 2 years for housing. So that was an experience. Housing is great.
RA, by the way, is residential assistant.
Yes. Oh my God. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, working for residents was really great as well. And then as time went on throughout my sophomore year, I think this is for everybody's experience. I think it's universal here. I don't know if you guys could agree with me on this or not, but as you progress through your years, I feel like you more so find yourself in like what you want to do truly. Because you come here to school, majority of people or a good chunk of people go to school knowing what they want to do, but I feel like there's also a good chunk of people that don't know what they want to do, and there's also another chunk of people that know what they want to do but don't know what they want to do,
And then they switch.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of like the area that I was at. But, like I mentioned before, as the years progress, you truly find out what you want to do. And it wasn't until my junior year I started actually taking film classes. And then that's where I met all the people from, Yotie Film Club. And then we started working on projects together. And, now we're here on my 4th year, still making projects, getting better and better. And I think, as time goes on, you just get better at what you're studying and what you're doing, And as the years progress, I don't know what else other words to say, but, you definitely do grow more connections as time goes on. And, connections are extremely great, especially in the college level. I don't know. Character development is great, honestly. Character development. I don't want to go too deep into it, but damn, character development is crazy once you hit your college years, dog. But hey, most of the time it's beneficial. It's beneficial.
Yeah.
The hard stuff that you go through will lead to you being a better person. So.
Yeah, but the connections is definitely a very big part of it because I play a little bit of a part in the music department as well as theater arts department because not only do I work for the music department, but I'm also part of the chamber singers choir. And for the past
nice.
2 years, we have been able to perform at Walt Disney Concert Hall for Home Alone in concert.
Oh, do you see? That's fire right there, bro.
Exactly.
That's fire.
Yeah, and like that's what Jason always says to his kids that he gives tours to, that connections is such a big thing to build in college because that is how you get out there and you start making your jobs. It's so important. But yeah, you said that you switched your major. Why did you ever consider doing a theater minor?
Theater minor, I did consider it. I did. The reason I didn't choose a theater minor is because currently right now I have a digital filmmaking minor. But it's also great too. The reason I'm gonna tell y'all right here. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all right here. The reason I did choose it is because if you're taking comm classes that are in the direction of filmmaking, there's a little life hack for y'all. If you're a comm major right now and you're like in your 1st or 2nd year, even your 3rd year, a lot of the classes that you take for filmmaking overlap into that minor. So you don't have to really take any extra classes. So you could graduate with a minor for not really taking anything extra, So that's kind of why I did it. But with a theater arts minor, you don't know how badly I miss theater, But I definitely, like, if I had more time, I definitely would definitely take a theater minor here.
You should. Not only that, but we've had many shows here where non-theater majors come and be a part of our shows.
Not only that, some of them were leads.
Oh yeah, fall 2023, we did Murder on the Orient Express, and we had a geology major, a psychology major. We had a psychology major when we were in Pippin.
Political science major was our lead. Einar.
Yeah, Einar was a political science major in Murder on the Orient Express, and in Midsummer we had a bunch of non-theater majors come in. So you gotta audition, dude. Gotta keep it going.
I know. I did. There's one thing I kind of regret. This is from my freshman year, okay?
Okay.
This is something I regret because I did audition for, it was that Star Wars play.
Oh, Two
Two
Gentlemen of
Gents.
Verona.
Yes, it was a Star Wars play. That one, I auditioned for a part, and I ended up getting a part. But the only thing is, I had to leave though because I would go. This is something I regret a lot. So my freshman year, I would live here on campus, but I would take the bus back every Friday to go back home. Every Friday, because I was so I wasn't adjusted to going back or to solely staying here and having this as my foundation. But I could have done that play. The only reason I left is because I would go back home on the weekends, and it was rehearsals from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. weekdays, I believe.
Yeah, it still is that.
Yeah, and I regret it because like there was so much I could have done right there, and I just missed performing on the stage, and that was my opportunity right there. That's where I messed up. And, because I was living on our campus, it was more convenient. It could have been more convenient for me to just show up to rehearsals. Yeah. That's where I messed up. That's one of my regrets that I have, at least with the theater arts department over here, because I could have been in a play over here on campus, and I ruined that opportunity for myself. So that's one of my regrets, actually, over here. Because
Well, you still got time at least if you're here for another semester.
I do have time. And that's actually going to be something I heavily consider for next semester.
Yes.
Because I don't know if there's going to be any short plays, but I probably might not do one of the larger ones, but if they have any short plays, potentially I might just do it.
Well, you know what else we do here for the players of the Pear Garden? We have something called OTP.
What is OTP?
OTP, the Other Theater Project. It's a completely student-run, student-written, student-directed, student-acted, everything. Every single part of that thing with some help from the department. We get some students to write a couple 10-minute scenes, and then we cast students from the department, we get tech, and then we just rehearse for about a week or so. Put on a performance in this very black box of student work performed by students, for the students and parents, faculty, whoever wants us to come see.
Oh, so it's all short form too?
For the most part, yeah. It's we've done longer scripts, we've done shorter scripts, we've done music pieces, we've done dance pieces.
Damn, so various amount of stuff.
It's kind of like a showcase. It ends running about an hour to an hour 15, 30.
Yeah, generally.
Okay, that's exciting because I used to be a part of showcases too back in high school. We every season we would have a showcase. Yeah, we'd have a mime show in October, then a winter showcase, love showcase, so on.
Wow.
That would be so fun to be a part of. I would have assumed.
Well, from experience, it has been quite fun.
Yeah, I've been a part of OTP for the past 2 years. I was an actor and a dancer for my junior year, and then this past one we did, I was stage managing.
How often do you guys do it per academic year?
We do it once a
per
year.
year.
We typically do it over winter break.
Winter break? Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
You mentioned going back home every Friday, so you didn't have your foundations here. So, where would you go home back to?
Oh, yeah, I would go back home to Palm Springs.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would take the commuter 10 bus all the way back to PDC, and then I would get picked up from there and then go back home. But I would do that my entire freshman year. Sophomore year, I ended up, I was blessed with a car, so I ended up going back home, and then I would end up working on the weekends too. And then same thing for the junior year. And then my senior year is actually the only year so far that I haven't been going back home consistently. I've just been staying here. So
yeah.
It's actually been I think that was a necessary change that I needed to make for myself because I think, eventually a bird needs to leave the nest. So,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I needed to get myself well acquainted with that because, eventually if I end up getting my own place, I need to be adjusted to being by myself,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, so you're in Palm Springs, you're so close to the Palm Desert campus, but wanting to leave the nest and make that new ground for yourself. Is that why you chose to come to the main campus instead?
Yeah, it's that, and then also too, to get a new experience because I feel like, I was told at a young age you gotta branch out so you could get different experiences, And if I was in PDC, I feel like I would not have gotten the same experience as I got while over here, you know? It's a whole new city, whole new group of people, you know, whole new campus, new setting, new people, new season. Sorry. But nah, it's it was like an update, you know, and it was great. And I feel like that was very beneficial to myself because I see myself now, I'm like, damn, I feel like I like the person I am right now. So because of all the experiences that I've culminated over the past few years. So
Those are the experiences you've had over the past few years. What about before that? What got you into film and theater and all that stuff?
this might take a bit. Hold up. So when I was a kid, I was very expressive with stories. You know, I would, you know, be telling my family and my friends like random stories off the fly. You know, and eventually that translated into comic books. I started writing comic books and writing stories onto there. That went on for a few years in elementary school. Then we got iPads from the district. From the iPads, I started translating those stories onto, you know, recording. And then from those, I would put them onto iMovie, edit them, and then I made little stories from the iPads. Eventually, that inspired me to make a YouTube channel. It was gaming, so I would make content on there for, you know, years on end. And I think I started that back in 2012. So I think I was about like 9 or 10 years old when I started making videos. From then, you know, that inspired me in middle school to just take solely video editing classes, video production classes, and then I became a part of the film club there in middle school. Ended up becoming president of that. It's very poetic because now I'm president of this one, but
It all comes back around.
it all does. And, you know, I would partake in film festivals through that club, and then, you know, like I've always wanted to be an actor too. So I told myself, you know what? When I get into high school, I'm gonna focus on that because I already have the experience of video editing, filming, and whatnot. So throughout the entire high school career, I just did acting and did theater. Then from there, you know, we're here now. Oh, didn't mean to hit you. Sorry, but but yeah, we're here now, and I think it's just all those experiences really shaped what I wanted to do. And, you know, it just like, it's crazy. It's like fine tuning little by little, and you get that experience. And I'm sure you guys have your own experience with that, with acting and, you know, theater work. You know, you have all this experience and, you know, you just keep refining it and you just get better at it.
Yeah, I can definitely relate because I remember freshman year, I was still a cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still a cheerleader and I was still doing choir. At that point, it was like my 7th year in choir and now I'm in my 10th. But yeah, so I've been singing and I've been dancing and performing in front of crowds, and then I got to refine my skills and becoming someone else on stage here. Mm-hmm. And Julian has something similar with that, with a music-based background too.
Yeah, back in high school, I also just used to do like video editing, computer. I used to make websites and apps and stuff. I was bored a lot.
Dude, oh my god, yo, that's crazy.
And then they got one of my friends was in theater. They're like, hey, I mean, we have technical things. You can do like lighting or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. They put me in sounds, and then they needed a guy. They're like, you're a guy. And then I started acting like, oh wait, this is fun because I as a child I always liked I didn't know that I liked theater. I just liked musicals. And I'm like, Disney movies and like live performance. I'm like, that's fun. Since I started acting, I was like, oh, wait, I like this. I got here. I did more acting. I'm a tech major. I've done more acting than tech. But, yeah, it's really fun.
So with all of these films that you have made, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced getting all of that together?
Okay, I'll start from the challenges to the serious challenges.
Okay.
So the challenges, the first one that we got to do, and I got to say, is just messing around because sometimes the films are too funny to film, and we had to take multiple takes. You know, with people laughing, it's great to have that positivity in the environment, but you know, when people are messing around and laughing, you don't get anything done. So that's a challenge that, you know, we fine-tuned already. That's initially what we were struggling with because, you know, we would just mess around. Another thing I would say is probably people overstepping the roles. You know, if you're lighting and you start telling the director what to do, you have no authority over that. Like, it sounds mean, but like, that's just how it is. You know, if you're in a role, you have to play said role. You could give advice if it's warranted, you know. But we have had sometimes some people overstep their roles, and But we've made it firm to, like, you got to stick to your role. If you have any advice, it's always welcome, but try not to do it too much, because then it kind of seems like you're trying to take over that other person's job, which is restricting them from getting that experience. Then I would say probably one of the most difficult things we've had to experience. I wouldn't say we've had to experience, but we're gonna have to experience, is the logistics of everything. If you want to go shoot in downtown San Bernardino, you could film in downtown San Bernardino, but you need a permit. You need permits to do all that, which is, it sucks, because you got to get like all permission and whatnot. And also too, if you want to film in a specific building, you need the building manager's permission. You need that all signed off and whatnot. You need to get all the paperwork done prior to shooting. I think that's probably going to be one of the more difficult things. Right now, we're actually helping Valley College get permission to film over here at the administrative building. So we're trying to find a building manager for that and help them out. It's been a little difficult, but we're doing our best to find that out. I would say also too, do you guys know what a slate is?
Yes.
Yeah. So the slate, there was this one project that we had, and
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
We know what a slate is.
Yeah.
But do they know what a slate is?
yeah, it's a little clapper where you go like take 3, it's that little clapper, And there was this one time where we didn't have a slate. We didn't have a slate for this one project, and we did auditory slates. So the thing is, I'm going to let you guys know here at home, whenever we film, we don't film the audio from the camera. Some of the cameras don't even record audio. We were using one of those cameras that don't record any audio at all. And then we were recording off of one of our microphones. And since we didn't have a visual slate, it was really, really difficult to sync up the sound and the video together. So that was a pain in the butt to go ahead and put that together. Yeah, that brings PTSD. I actually talked about it at our last meeting because that was such a long process. But yeah,
Oh, God, I
yeah,
can
just
imagine.
making sure overall, just making sure everything is supposed to go the way it's supposed to go. You won't run into any issues.
Yeah.
But those are kind of some of the things we ran into before.
Yeah, God. With a project like that sounds like a technical nightmare. What has been the biggest challenge in terms of editing and effects and stuff like that?
Editing and effects.
Yeah, some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I would probably say sometimes if you don't get the camera settings right when you're filming, sometimes it ends up coming out like crap, And it makes it very difficult to fine-tune that and tweak it. Sometimes if you're filming, if you have the camera settings, you have the brightness down. Well, I'll simplify the terms so you guys understand it. But if you have the camera brightness down and you try to raise that brightness up in post, you're gonna get a lot of noise in the image. It's gonna look very grainy and sandy. And we've had that experience happen before. We gotten better at it. But that's one challenge. Another challenge I will say is because we partook in a 48-hour film festival back in October, and we were editing off of 2 different workstations. Mind you, we had 48 hours to write a film, shoot it, and edit it, and submit it in 48 hours. So that was extremely stressful. I'm getting PTSD about this too. There was this specific VFX shot that I was editing on After Effects. It's a pew-pew. To the dome. So this actor got a pew-pew to the dome, and that was very stressful because we had to do it, or I was actually the one editing that while the other guys were editing on the main workstation. We had maybe about this is about an hour and a half before we're submitting it.
Ooh.
This film was due at 7 p.m. And
So you're at 5:30.
yeah, 5:30. I'm over here crashing out in my kitchen trying to edit this, and like, it's not rendering correctly, the overlay, the VFX overlay, you kind of tell there's a box right there, and I was getting so upset. And then my guys are in the other room editing on the main workstation. They're crashing out on each other because they're like, no, the audio is supposed to be this way, this way, this way. But main reason that we're all like that is because the time constraint, Yeah. And I think that also applies to so many different projects. And this is why I tell people to take their time with it and plan everything out accordingly so you don't run into things like that, Of course, we had that huge time constraint, or that small time constraint. Or actually, I don't even know. We were stressed. We were stressed to the max. And Yeah, that's why I give my advice to other people whenever they're in a project to just plan everything out accordingly so you don't run into issues like that. And also, too, the thing is, you will probably run into issues like that because not every production goes smoothly. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You always run into something.
That is definitely a challenge, but what have been some of your favorite moments of being a part of Yotie Film Club?
I would probably say, because we had an event back in March, one of my favorite moments was one of our events called Dreams to Screens. It was essentially a presentation and like sort of an opening for Yotie Film Club. So that event, it was a culmination of all of our films from where we first started as a class, and then all the way to where we are now. And it was essentially, I think it was about 13 or 15 different films that we showcased, and you could just see the progress, and just seeing the audience reaction to certain elements and certain things, and seeing our growth, not only as filmmakers, but our expression of art, was probably one of my favorite moments for Yotie Film Club. I think that also, you can understand if you're working on a project, especially for theater, and you finally get to show it off to an audience, especially at your home base, it hits differently,
Yeah, it's your baby. You get to present it.
Exactly. And I think that presentation went extremely well, and we had a really great crowd turnout, and just seeing and hearing people's reactions is one of my favorite things and one of my favorite moments. Filmmaking-wise, I would probably say we had this one short film called Sonder. It's a psychological film. And, all of us, there was about maybe, our crews culminated about 15, 20 of us at our friend Mari's house. And throughout that entire shoot, it was a blast, We had our actor from LA come over here, and we were giving him directions, giving him notes. I acted in that film as well. And getting the opportunity to act with somebody else, especially on the camera, just making a film with your friends is probably one of the more fun experiences that I had, too.
Wow. And you have actors coming all the way from LA?
LA and San Diego sometimes,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, we have this, there's this website. Also, too, if any actors listening right now, there is a website called Backstage.
Yeah.
You could create your own portfolio on there, and, you could audition for roles on there virtually. And, you even go and show out physically in person for roles that you're interested in. And, that's how we found our actors. We found one, but we found three of them. Two were from LA, and then one was from San Diego. So, and that was for our short film, Volatile Simmer. Yeah, Volatile Simmer, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Richard. But before you go, we just want to ask you a little more things. Just what are some of your favorite filmmakers, favorite directors, actors? What are some of your favorites from there?
Director, that's very hard. I don't have one right now. I will say I do not have one because I think every director is able to express themselves very, very differently. And I enjoy seeing the work of different directors. Film-wise, my favorite horror film, La La Land. I'm going to mention that again. Another film that really impacted me, it's a film from the 1900s. I forget which decade. It's called Bicycle Thieves. I saw it in a class. I believe it might be 1930s, around there.
Okay.
But it's probably one of the sadder films that I've seen. And then, They Clone Tyrone on Netflix. That was a really good film. That was really good. They really get like the 80s feel down, despite it being a modern film. That was one of my favorite films. And the filmmaking techniques they use, oh God, it's great. Damn, I think that, what was more to that question? Was it director?
Favorite actors, actresses, anything
Favorite
like that?
actor? I'm going to be basic, Pedro Pascal.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Pedro Pascal, yeah.
That's pretty fair. And you're going to be graduating next semester.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How about you? Are you guys graduating this semester?
I'm heading out of here.
Oh my God.
I got a month left.
And I got about 2 years, ideally.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
No problem.
Anything else you want to plug real quick?
Yeah, follow our social medias at Yotie Film Club. You can find it on Instagram. If you want everything, you want it all just one simple, concise list for you, go to Instagram, type Yotie Film Club. There's a link right there. It's called a link tree. It's going to have everything. It's going to have our TikTok, our YouTube channel, our email, I believe, and a few other things on there. If you want to see our films too, we do have it on our YouTube channel. We have, I think, actually every single film we've done so far uploaded on our YouTube channel.
Stay tuned to watch a short clip of one of our Yotie films, actual films. But other than that, make sure to like, subscribe, and as Jason usually says, stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Thank you for coming to the podcast of the Pear Garden.
I forgot his actual outro.
So did I.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
clip.
Bye.